Smart,
A
thoughtful.
protest or a riot.
Loved
The
to hear
Jedi were the
himself
keepers of
talk.
peace in the galaxy,
But long
and
ago,
all seemed right.
he had
Mira
a
was
different
approaching
name.
15 and
The
Anakin was
Dread
19,
Wolf.
and then everything turned
Ancient
on its
elven
head.
god of
An
lies,
assassination
or
attempt on one of the most
heroic
important
rebel
senators in
against
the
tyranny,
Republic, Senator
depending
Amidala,
on which
who was a part of
story
the
you
peaceful
believe.
coalition inside the Senate, and she was trying to
In his
beat back the
desperate
military
fight
creation
against the
bill.
corrupt elven
Palpatine wanted
gods,
her away from the Senate
Solus
so that
imprisoned
he could
them,
certify the bill and begin a
creating a
proxy
veil
war.
that
It
split
was
our
certainly a
world from the
plan
raw
made by the Sith
magic of
Lord,
the Fade.
but it wouldn't pan out as he hoped. Anakin and Mira
Yet
would be
one.
brought back to Coruscant to guard her. Mira was super excited about
The
this
veil
because she was
cost
finally
the
able to do
elves
some protection
everything.
work. Anakin
Their
was
magic,
relatively excited, but he kind
their
of forgot
freedom,
about Padme.
even
It's not that he
their
didn't still find her
immortality.
attractive or lose his ability to harbor attachments, he just
Now,
had more important things in his
Solus
life
wants
at the
to
point.
tear down
He
that
was a
veil
teacher, he had
and
students,
undo
and
the
he had
damage he
responsibilities.
caused,
It wasn't worth it,
even
not the
if that
slightest.
means
Anakin was
our
focused on
world
himself.
has to
He took his
burn.
job very seriously, and as did Miro. So when Padme had another
Somebody's
attempt on her
gotta
life,
stop him.
the Jedi acted very quickly.
And that's
Except instead of
where
looking
you
out the
come
window,
in.
Miro whipped her lightsaber out the window, cutting the droid down and using the Force to pull it back into the room. Anakin made sure the Senator was alright as Miro examined the droid. Anakin turned back around and examined it with her. They would take it back to the Jedi Temple for further investigation. Because the Jedi were able to recover the probe, Padme was even more encouraged to scout Coruscant. Anakin, being a Jedi Master, agreed with her position inside the Senate, and while a Jedi, he couldn't be influenced by the Senate. He believed that it would be better if she stayed on planet. And so, Padme, the Jedi Master, who was heading the security team, deciding that she should stay, she was allowed to stay. For Palpatine, this would disrupt his plans. On the other side of things, Mace Windu would be able to figure out that the probe was from Geonosis, supplied by a Mandalorian on a range-filled world in the Outer Rim. How did he figure this out? Because of an old friend named Quinlan Voss who was able to use the Force to do so. With the information Mace Windu gathered, he would give it to the Council. There was a lot at play here, and he needed to be discreet. It is for the Senate, but having an assassination attempt on a public official was certainly a problem. Yoda would send himself out to a few water wolves in the galaxy, starting with Mon Calamari. Mace would take Quinlan Voss, AC-10, and Eve Koth to Geonosis. At the same time, Master Kenobi and his apprentice would be sent to Mandalore to see if they could find any traces of the Mandalorian hunters that attempted to kill Padme. Over the next few days, events would transpire, several of them actually. Yoda would be directed from Mon Calamari to Kamino, a planet where they, about a decade before, traded several underwater metals too. Mon Calamari was a big trader of underwater materials that were high functioning. Kamino bought enough for a couple facility platforms. Most of what they bought were simply pillars to hold up the platforms. Yoda went to Kamino and discovered a clone army. On the other hand, Obi-Wan
So, where were we?
He proved that there were no issues on Mandalore.
Let's try this again.
You think you can come in?
He also didn't know about these warriors, so Kenobi's trail ran cold. Had an old friend who he did adore.
Nev Gallus is
On
my
the other
old
hand,
shop
Padme was able to place her gun against the military creation bill. Something Jar Jar was
Not enough gold.
Jar Jar was
Meat?
because of this, it would block making the way towards behind
Nev
support.
Too much plaza.
Thanks. Your friend Nev
I heard. Although,
Creation Act to combat the Trade Federation in case they did something. People seeing this as Palpatine's greatest failure, and maybe his plans weren't benefiting
What
the
do I have to
Republic,
worry
rather
about?
taking away from the success they could have with
You
more
would-
diplomatic
Yeah.
Come on.
politicians. Anakin and Mira
All
stuck
right.
close to Padme throughout these hearings, to which Anakin would break down the
I hope
Republic
Nev's as good at
and
finding people
explain
as you
everything
claim.
to Mira in
she's
a
the
way that
best
she would
damn
be able to
detective
understand.
I've ever
At
met.
Geonosis,
If she says she's got a lead on Solus, I believe her.
They immediately realized they were building a war machine. So they didn't
The
stop it
Archon's
here.
palace.
Now, the new
Something
boss
must have
team
gotten them
and
riled up.
all came together to create a plan.
Maybe in more
The
of a
Jedi
hurry to
came
get out.
together, looking informed
We
his
don't
fellow
want to
Jedi.
look conspicuous. Just get out of here nice and casual. Find Nev Gallus and stop
They would have to be
Solus.
careful though. The Geonosians were clearly in on it, and there were millions, if not billions, of droids here at Geonosis.
Still
They
think you
would
can
sneak
talk
around
down before he
without
starts
his
his big
proxy,
ritual?
as the other
That
three
ritual
Jedi
is going to
stuck
tear
with his
down the
councils
veil.
out of their meeting.
The only thing separating us from the Fade and its endless number of demons.
While also
I
locking
have
all
to
the
talk
doors.
Wait!
Get down.
Are they after us?
Word travel.
We've got to help them.
You don't have time to get...
We're too late.
The ritual started. But if we hurry, we can still stop Solus before it finishes. Let's go. Harding's this way. She'll get us to Dumont Plaza, and Nev will get us to Solus.
Watch out! It's Solus summoning demons on purpose.
My guess is the veil is weakening, and they're slipping through the cracks.
And when the veil comes down...
And the whole world is going to look a lot like this. Come on, this way. It should get us to Harding.
And you do against each other and how fury of talent. Let the precision and power to the odds of the advantage of the knives on our side. Unlike in battle against Seattle,
I mean, the ritual must be...
And a lot of demons.
And what about you?
Weaknesses. The blades crushing the walls,
Fought
dislocating
some demons and the Archon's palace to...
himself
Have you got my
using
gear?
both his physical
Right over
strength
there.
and his strength of the force. And kept
Where's
people
Nev
off
Gallus? The
balance.
Venatori got to her. They grabbed her
Spears
before...
and allows
I'm not surprised. The bar owner said...
Not a problem. I saw Dumont Plaza.
Still not using that very single one until now.
Demons, here they come.
Process. Finding the narrow connection of the same just outside. Which I would make one when they start analysis. You know, against the connection. It would also be next to Anna, broadcasting from the United States. There's the application of
I think that's the last of them.
Good. Let's get to Dumont Plaza and find Nev. You all right? Patch yourselves up if you need it.
I don't get it. If Solus tears down the veil, doesn't that destroy everything? Solus always talked about how beautiful it was.
Before the veil, and he wants to bring it back.
Even if this ritual kills them in the process.
If the Chancellor
Argon's
provided
palace
information
floats over the city with a big cannon benefited its own people.
or decision probably to make on the way, he could have made another choice that he chose wrong. Instead of continuing waiting until Palpatine returned, even though the Senate would have discovered that he returned, revealing the Genoa engineers to find out why people were trying to assassinate Senator Nadala. Palpatine and Jedi and some of his knowledge, trying to put the Jedi on the stand called, but as he continued, the Senate
Oh no, I think that's Dumont Plaza.
Let's
not
move.
negotiate with assassins or revolutions. Those who thought it was a notion, but the wider group of the Senate disagreed.
I hate these
Firstly,
assholes.
people were deciding to start a revolution against the Republic. Not that there was something wrong with the Republic. It's a revolution. On target for the power of the Senate is engaged away. The churches say Trade Federation. So the Senate went to the Republic. It was extremely possible that Palpatine wasn't able to correct his failures in the war. So while waiting for Palpatine to return, the unknown confidence reached the Chancellor.
More intruders!
She returned.
Friendly bunch of girls.
Shock.
They crossed the Grey Waters a
Galaxy
few years back.
office. As the Republic called it, the balance of the galaxy. On the hands of everyone in the Sun Chamber, it was necessary. Because this quick action
They're sliding down.
was Jedi, it will stop the galaxy black hole. Kill them all! In the very tense galactic atmosphere, it's not to stop the war proper. Because it's the army allowed to Spotlight.
Barriers. Looks like Nev's work, not the Venatori's.
Natural death during this time. Here I will become the lead of the part and choose two other students, both becoming the master of the order. Things were taking the
Right,
position of
pardon.
Grand Master, while he
Not
was
the worst
jealous
timing.
of the order. He was suggesting
Nev,
how
it's so good to see you. We thought the Venatori had kidnapped you.
They thought the same thing. A lot of
Venatori
Venatori in the city have reason to hate me. Figured I'd play along. Find out who wanted to settle the score this time.
removing their inhibitor chips so that they couldn't become a threat to the people of the galaxy.
So I'm back on the job.
It's certainly good time to
Appreciate it. Rook, this is Nev Gallus, our local expert. She's gonna help us find Solus. Nev, meet Rook. Harding and I found her a while back. Thought we could use an expert on trouble.
Rook, like the chess piece.
One of the strongest pieces on the board, but she tends to think in straight lines.
was falling apart. The ancient Sith Lord was struggling to really get anything back in place.
Nice to meet you. Based on the Venatori, you've got excellent taste in enemies.
I do my best.
Any Jedi beforehand
You said you had a lead?
ever dreamed of, and so continuously went out in the galaxy searching for Palpatine. Each of the last 20 years, he continuously searched for him, finding not a trace. On the 20th year, he finally found a trail. It was accidental. Palpatine was trying to set up a coup on a backwater world, and it backfired because he ran into Skywalker, a much older and much more mature man. His face aged with wrinkles, but his hair still hung on the back of his neck, with his robes being fluorescent as ever, and little spots of gray parting his hair. When Anakin saw Palpatine, he didn't even hesitate to ignite his lightsaber. Sith was completely caught off guard. He didn't even know how to react, because he didn't see Anakin coming. He was pushing his
Whatever he is, he's causing trouble in my city.
that was old, and the dark
Let's
side
go.
began to hurt. The owner of whom was present. But Maul was present, Sith's master. Maul clashed with Skywalker and Sidious replicated the movement by igniting his own lightsabers. Palpatine knew time, but it would be much more worth his time.
So, if we do catch Solus, Red Wolf, or whatever
He wants to bring down the veil. Only that ritual takes its full attention.
So we catch him while he's doing his ritual, so he can't fight.
That's the hope. If it comes to a straight-up fight,
Age,
dead.
legs, dragged through his stomach. Since on the other hand, used blades in extremely offensive fashion until he continues to down
I'm getting too old for this.
all the balance after decades of being awaited. He's relatively sure there was nothing that could stop Anakin. He was the most powerful being in the galaxy, and he was fully balanced, trained by the best to be the best. Anakin would bring the galaxy the Sith, and thankfully to his training, the galaxy would be a little bit of destructive conflict. Sure, the delay would never be won, but Anakin Skywalker was probably without happiness he served. The galaxy protected his entire being. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our story position of the most and has found the home that is to his enemy. And what shit. So sometimes it's been out in the state forever, so that's not what I'm doing. So, and my phone is all over. So I'm like right now. It's too much.
I can get it.
It took me so long to play.
So this is the Dread Wolf's hideout.
On my desktop that
Not sure how long he's been here.
I don't even know how to write this.
Some of this looks ancient.
Solus has been around longer than Arathis itself.
Right now, because between doing the songs and doing the stories, it's a lot of creative output coming out of my mind, and my brain is just like, whoa.
Solus is freeing slaves.
So
Solus
my
hates
favorite
slavery.
is the stories
One of
don't
the few
seem
things we
as
absolutely
fantastical as
He
always.
said the other
or
elven gods were tyrants
you
who
know,
oppressed his
they
people.
not slower.
He was trying to
I
help
always try
them.
to put my best foot forward when I make a story, so I always want to try and put something different, something unique out. And I think I was able to accomplish that with this video, so let's talk about this video because that's why I'm going to talk about the video, you know? So first things first, let's talk about Peter. Peter is a new character. Let's get cool. I don't touch inserted known characters into the spotlight. I like to think of having known characters what's fun to that. Actually, new character, trade, whatever it is, choose to do that for. But just sure, just like Aubrey, and multitudes of other combatants. And these characters have been fit in Star Wars. They're not supposed to take over Star Wars. I want these characters to exist in Star Wars. So, like, when you're watching the movie, you can be like, oh my gosh, Anakin just killed Daisha. Or could have just killed Mira inside the Jedi Temple. Okay, these characters are expendable, and I'm fine with that. You know, I have no ego, so putting these characters in there for them to be a part of the universe is a cool idea, but I'm not going to put them into the spotlight. And that's something I've always tried to. Hello, welcome back to the Space Gulags. Today we're reviewing What If Anakin Was Trained from Birth. Before we get to today's special thanks to our patrons, voice actors,
That's some
and
magic.
part of my team,
Definitely not
which
for
you
the
can win
vintage.
in our next
Any
giveaway.
guesses what
Watch
it
the end of the
is?
video, and I'll tell you
It's
exactly
called
how.
an Eluvian.
When
They're elven
our story
and
begins
very
in
old.
BBY,
It acts like a
the creation of
doorway
a child
from one place
of
to
the
another.
Force. Anakin
Solus
Skywalker
uses
was
them to
born
get
in the
around
outer
quickly.
world planet of Tatooine, and it would send ripples through the Force. While the Jedi had seemingly lost their way, they too would pick up on it. The two Sith in the galaxy were also very aware of this creation. They felt it to the Force, though less so than the Jedi. The Force created Anakin Skywalker as a result of the Sith playing around with the Force. He wanted to be the chosen one, secure agreement that could rebalance the Force. Both sides of the Force were loaded to his presence. The Jedi Master run High Council, from the Jedi Council, traveling from Tatooine to find his child and bring him back to the temple. Yes, who was controlled by the Council and the failure, and could feel what Skywalker was. After several years would be dispatched along with Master's killer and see that he was the child of the Force. The three Jedi would make their traverse the Outer Rim, being that the Force
And I thought the
came
demons
there.
were bad back in
The
the
Sith would
Rathas.
also be the Outer Rim, which was the child of God.
No telling what.
Sidious and Plagueis split up so that they could find a
Does it feel
location
like those
and
tremors
discover
have
the
been hurt?
creation faster. Then after all of the reason that Anakin was created beginning, they entered the Force and the Force created Skywalker as a result. Reaching out to the Force as their ally because he was a child. And if they where he was, but as they concentrated on what they really wanted to find, it led them to the point of Tatooine. The Jedi believed that it was a mistake, but maybe it wasn't. And he would sense the courage, being forced to decide to be on Tatooine. It was an unexpected place in the galaxy. It would deter evil from discovering whatever it may be.
We
The
get
Jedi
tremors
arrived
every
in
time one of
Tatooine
those
and made
big
their way
crystals at the
toward the
ritual
city
site
of
lights up.
Zespa.
Many of them
The
left
Jedi saw what the disgrace the Outer Rim reflected, and realized that as they made its Jedi, the failure said that he was afraid to saw the Outer Rim as the failure of the Jedi, since he came in his own way, and while Jedi was the bringer of chaos himself. The Jedi walked the streets and saw all the different species and how well hopefully they were different on Tatooine. While those people across the galaxy would recognize the Jedi, they saw one. People here were all amazed by the Jedi. They kind of ignored them. The Jedi, it was kind of weird. And then they walked around the signs as if they were forest. They walked the Jedi to there. They stopped in his tracks, turning around and they had his lightsaber. He looked around the fire and said something. The other two Jedi essentially stood the same said he spoke up, asking what it was. He still didn't say a word. Since he took into the crowd, back to said that he is. Jedi dispersed. Everyone was looking at him. Every guy was lots of control of it. Very firm, seasoned, follow. Said he really wanted the same. And he decided not to. Turned around and wow. On the other hand, Master's movement. Shake down in the streets. Whoever picked up what it was interesting. Before instantly regretting his decision, the figure turned around and shot lightning towards him. Luckily, it went alright, only placing him up and staying safe. He landed heavily on the ground, using balance as he turned the lightsaber ignited and swung for him. Since he came around the crowd and then against an outlaw blade, and turned over his floor, bullets pushed facing the blade into the sand before appearing to kill his on the other side of the street, said he wasn't near the lightsabers flashing, but the headlights were not. It was so close. He walked the alleyway. Honestly,
Watch the lightning!
in her arms, she couldn't see them. They get knocked around to the child, so he was doing that. But the choice fell in his lap, and then he was stuck on his thoughts. He would choose. He felt the need for lives, showing the force. She thought. Instead reached down to the child.
How did demon this large get through the veil?
It's a prone demon. That thing probably set Solus's ego.
She was ill with her child. It's like the basement that had to be injured, and it was chilled. The business, it was over. The child ran forward, and each other. He looked over and saw
Everyone all right?
It
Good enough. Let's get to Solus.
Kids could figure out they were fighting, but it was a great assault. So he turned to make his way back to the shuttle that they aligned in. The two Jedi noticed their colleague running away from them, so they moved off the set and pushing and moving away or running away. As he achieved his lightsaber darted into the alleyway. Cyclopeus got back to the vessel and turned on the engines. Before lifting off, the bay door opened.
All right.
He pulled the vessel around
sure?
to Sidious out. The two Jedi Masters noticed it and jumped up into the bay. Lindy called out to Cyclopeus, letting him know that they were both on the ship. And as
Got your back.
Cyclopeus pulled away,
If
the
anyone
ship
can
locked
get through
up.
to him.
Stacey-10 looked down and saw the dark figure with his hands up in the air.
Whatever else he is,
Stop the ship
he's
from
my
escaping.
friend.
Stacey,
And if he won't
his
listen to
lightsaber,
me,
he didn't sit
then
forward.
he'll hear from
Holding
beyond.
their ship. And symbolically that his lightsaber and concentration of growth on the ship.
More
Long
demons.
enough for Cyclopeus to pull the vessel away from the turner. As Stacey-10 pulled the lightsaber back in his hand. Cyclopeus called out.
All right.
Make sure
Let's buy him some
all
tea.
right, and double check if the Cyclopeus will want to check it briefly. It will be a check it
I know Varric is getting through to Solus. Better talk fast. We can't hold these demons off forever.
Once the ship was in hyperspace, he rushed back, carried the vessel, and asked the child how it is. He looked over and shook his head. Cyclopeus, though being a miracle,
The
made
veil
the
is a
Jedi temple
wound inflicted
alive.
upon this
Stacey
world.
tended
It
me down
must
and
be
continued
healed.
trying to make sure the
By
world was alright.
drowning the world in
Then turned to
demons?
Cyclopeus and
I
told him
have
about the
taken
trouble they
precautions
faced.
to
While
minimize the
initially
damage,
chaotic
Varric.
demons and the Jedi
Minimize?
skeptical of the
You-
Sith return.
Please.
Barely survived to encounter the first sickness.
People are-
Cyclopeus
It is
asked
what they
if
do.
any idea of who or where the Sith came from.
Shit.
This said it's
What were these two?
and he was
How?
extremely skilled with
See,
the
the-
Force
we-
and
it's
with the
risky.
lightsaber.
And what about the deep?
Right,
you two what? No.
The storm could
Anyone go-
Fine.
I'm amazed.
Either way, some-
the severity of this. And then that once they got the child back to the medical bay inside the temple, they could inform the council.
Let's go, Harding. Nev, keep the demons off us.
You got it.
They were about the survival of his child. But the this would be extremely stressful. Once they arrived at the temple, they were starting to calm down. The child was still alive by some chance of the worst. The ship landed carried Skywalker's arms, and the ship entered the hangar bay, which had felt the ramp made down the windows. Safety didn't follow closely behind. The Cyclopeus was able to land the ship, pulled the ship and ran to the hangar bay, and saw the other two Jedi running down the hall. The Jedi
This is
made their
it!
way to the medical bay
Bring down that
and
scaffolding!
rushed the infant to a couch with finger hands. He directed the droid to preserve the child's leg. The Jedi waited patiently for the child.
Why tear down the veil?
Told
Knowing
Master
all the
Cyclopeus
lies
that
it'll
one of the
cost.
council had discovered
We
this.
shared a journey years ago.
To watch over him.
Do you believe
He's
that I
valued
would
by
do this
the
if there was some
Master
other
Caesar
better
behind him.
option?
The two had made their way to the council
pillar's
chambers,
weak, but
and from there they would
it isn't
express that
falling.
everything they'd been
We need to
through.
push it.
Stacey-10
I'm with
talked
you.
about getting the sensitive presence of the Sith.
Together.
But
Now.
one of them got engaged. When she
You
let
came
them
a long
into
way
that
and
was
made a
past the
valiant
Sith.
effort, Varric, but this
Stacey-10
story
said
does
the
not
Sith
end
was
with my
passionate
downfall.
for it, and used his skillful lightsaber extremely well. The Stacey-10 believed the Sith and was there to see her mistake where he said he had to took a time and counsel of the child discovered. He told them that the child's mother was beaten to death, and it seems that the child wasn't much older than a couple of days. The child was a one, and put well higher than the children had ever seen. The said that these people were saying that if the child had survived, his early life disadvantages, which are realized the chosen one. The council members looked around in quiet murmur. They asked Cyclopeus where the child was. He spoke up, telling them that apparently he was inside the medical bay with Master Green being treated. The council all collectively without having to say a word. They looked at Cyclopeus and then suggested that the medical bay, the Skywalkers. The council eventually went down to the medical bay. Everything was rather still. So they were working on their job, and Master Green was spectating the force and hoping that the child would survive. Trusting that the force would provide the child a way to survive as a whole. The council could feel the
Varric.
force emanating from the child the moment they walked in. Anakin was sent to a
Oh
medication.
no, no, no.
It takes several hours for Anakin to prevail
Harding!
to have experience. Because of this survival, they constantly go back to their learning business, and so they return to the Jedi Council to talk about all the new developments, according to training the Chosen One, and to advise the Sith. There was also something else that was one of the defiance of Lieutenant Stacey Tin and Cyber Diaz, which was the obvious disarray that the Outer Rim was in. The Jedi Council had a lot to confront, and so they asked the Facebook group. They expressed that the Council should reach out to the Senate and inform them that the Outer Rim was in disorder, and the Peace Corps should be sent out there with Jedi Knights to solve some of these issues the Republic had been neglecting. The other issue was the presence of the Sith. The Jedi were now alerted to their presence, meaning that this little Master Padawan duo could travel off of Coruscant alone. Every Jedi could have a duo of Masters or Knights. If the Jedi Master had to spawn out, they'd have to be accompanied by another Jedi Master and or apprentice duo. The message was sent out immediately. It wouldn't take long for Jedi to send council members Windu and Malava to the Senate building to inform the Chancellor about the issues in the Outer Rim and how the Republic was ignoring its citizens. While the Chancellor hadn't been acting on fixing these issues,
You
having
have
the
no
Jedi Council
idea
was
what you
actually
have
been
done.
motivating, especially since they were offering them to venture to the Outer Rim with the Peace Corps and do the work for the rather unmotivated
Solus.
Republic. The Jedi Council also talked about what they would do with the Chosen One. Cyber Diaz suggested that each master
know
spend
what
time
I
with the
did.
child during
I
its
stopped you
developmental
from
time.
destroying the
Instead of
world.
just putting him with
I
the rest of
was
his
not
classes, they should
destroying the
individually
world.
focus on him and identify what traits he succeeded with the most. If Skywalker had the particular trait
When you
of
disrupted
the
my
Jedi
ritual, the magical energies pulled me here, into the fate.
Skywalker's teacher.
Okay, so that's
In
why you're
actuality,
here.
Master Cyber Diaz
Why am I
was
here?
the trait Skywalker.
Your
because
physical
he
body
was
is
one that
unconscious,
seeks death.
but
So
you
they
shed a
reached
few
the
drops
point
of blood
and
at the
it was
ritual
beautiful.
site.
That's a
Enough
Jedi
for a
who
tenuous
really explained
connection.
the feeling he had
Blood
for
magic.
it.
Firstly, I
Overwhelming
abhor
action.
the use of blood
The
magic.
Cyber Diaz
Secondly,
allowed his personal
had I the
feelings
power to
get in the
control
way
you, I
of
would
what he
already
wanted
have
to do.
used it.
From here on out, the Jedi would begin working with the Republic Peace Corps on worlds across the Outer Rim, helping
So
people
all I
out
have to do to get
of
away from them
obscurity.
is wake up.
One
And
of the
how
Jedi
much
that
experience
on
do
the
you
front
have
line
willing yourself
for
from sleep to
Jedi
wakefulness?
Master
Can't be that hard.
While you practice, perhaps you would like to hear about the consequences of your
High
actions.
Republic.
Meaning,
The Evanurus, or as you would call them, the Elven Gods, the creatures that escaped. In ancient times, they ruled the elves, but that was not enough. They sought not just to be obeyed, but to be worshipped. When I rebelled, they drew on the horrific magic of the Blight, corrupting all they saw until I trapped them. Thanks to you, though, I am now trapped, and the blighted Elven Gods walk free.
At the point, Terra Snoopy was a Jedi Council member. Cyber Diaz would also spend time with Anakin. But
How am I supposed to trust anything
the
you
Council
say?
would spend
You
time with
saw them
someone of
escape
such
from my
importance.
prison.
I
The
also
Council
saw you bringing down the veil.
Skywalker, but they believed that he'd be better fit for
I
Skywalker
had a
once
plan.
he was a little
Varric
older.
always
Anakin
said you'd have a
was lot
big
with his
explanation for why
teachers,
none of this
and
was
the
your
one thing that
fault.
would cause him some
Varric.
confusion
Yeah,
would be
he said
their
that's your
secret
style.
patterns.
Never
They
quite
wouldn't let
lies,
anyone
clever
understand their
half-truths
brothers.
that let you
They
convince
tried to
yourself
learn
you're doing the
galactic
right thing.
common,
He tried
while
to
one
talk
of
to
your
you anyway,
instructors
and now he's
backwards.
hurt.
Varric is
Other than Grandmaster Yoda's speech pattern,
quite
Anakin
practiced
developed
at
a
shading the
passion
truth
for Jedi.
himself.
So those things that got out, you said they were gods?
Anakin spent a lot of time with Terra
They
Snoopy now.
said they were
He was
gods.
Anakin's favorite early
Blighted,
instructor.
tyrannical,
While Yaddle has the
sadistic
overwhelming
gods.
sense of calmness to her.
It took all
Anakin
my
got along
power
with Terra
to
Snoopy
imprison them
the most.
millennia ago,
He was an elder Jedi,
but
like
I am
Yaddle
certain
Yoda,
you will
but
be
his way of
fine.
explaining things always made sense to Anakin. Because Anakin had no memories of his mother's death, he wasn't at all inhibited by the tragedy of his early life. Instead, he flourished on his own. Anakin would have interaction with people his own age as well. This had him in class twice a week with Ferris O'Fee.
We stopped
She
you.
was just a few months younger
We'll
than
stop
Anakin,
them.
but the
I
two
had
got
a
along
ritual
really
dagger
well.
of pure lyrium.
But Anakin's peers
My
never really
network of
understood
mirrors could take me
why
from
he
the
wasn't
lighthouse
with
across
them
the
all
world
the time.
in moments.
This didn't mean
Right
they
now,
turned against each other.
you seem to have
Rather,
neither.
it's that they didn't
Do you
understand
intend
why
to knock
he
over a
wasn't
statue
with
during
them.
their ritual?
Anakin didn't
Well,
mind.
I don't intend to take
He
advice
saw
from the
himself
Elven
as
God of
better than
Lies.
He was very humble.
Quite right.
Also because the Jedi
Elganan
spirits
and
captured
Gilliman
Skywalker,
are your
they kept
problem
him
to
inside the
solve.
Jedi temple.
This is your responsibility now.
They wanted to make sure that he was acclimated to their culture and their way of life. But he was. Anakin donned really pure robes.
Why tear down the
White
veil?
and not
You want me to
white.
take the shot?
As a boy, blonde hair. But when he grew up,
You
he
have
was
no
fine.
idea what you have
His
done.
darker color.
This is
Skywalker
your
took
responsibility now.
had
Well,
often got to visit the council chambers.
look
something
who's
that would be
still with
extremely
us.
uncommon for a Jedi to do,
Varric,
especially a Jedi
you're
youngling.
okay.
Once Anakin
But I
reached
saw
the age of
Solus
5,
stab
he
you.
began
You
to have
fell.
training with
Trust me,
every
kid.
other council member
I've
on the
had
council.
worse. It'll take more than a flesh wound to stop me. Don't think I'll be making it out to the field anytime soon, though.
Respect, were eager to train and spend time with Anakin. Already he showed signs of progressive growth. He was exceeding all of his age requirements and even those from years beyond him. Anakin, because of his midichlorian count, was incredibly smart. His brain developed a little bit faster.
What happened?
He soared
I
through
did
basic
my best to
instructions
talk
that
sense
great
into
joy.
Solus.
Because
But of
Anakin
course,
was
he
on
wasn't
path,
listening.
surrounded by thrills and
He never
excitement.
does.
He was perfectly content
The
with
plan
spending
did
time
go
in some
a
of the
little
Jedi
wrong.
archives which
Yeah.
Chakotay knew, and learning the
Nev
ways
got
of
everyone
force,
out,
and even
by
more,
the skin of
which
her
is
teeth
the
mostly.
across the
And
galaxy,
before you start worrying, Harding will be fine. She's made of sterner stuff than either one of us. Or, at least, she's a lot tougher than me.
Were to help people, and they saw him as an aid for the Jedi. A newfound respect for the Jedi would be found across the galaxy. Dooku finally seeing what the Jedi could do with their message and what they preached would lead him
I
to
should have come up with a
pressing
better
on
plan.
the offer
I should have.
You worked with what you had. And you
There's something
succeeded,
about the
by the
Senator
way.
who seemed
The
off
world
to
isn't
Dooku,
drowning in
but because of his
demons.
suspicions, he
It isn't
struggled
over, though.
with the
We
Senator.
trapped Solus in the
The idea
Fade,
that there
but
could
something
be
else got out.
deeper
Something.
and influence man,
Look,
regardless, the
you've
Jedi
got
was doing
this.
great. Skywalker
I've
was
seen your
consistently
work.
excelling through his workload,
Like that
and
time you
reached the
ditched
age
your
of 9
orders for a better strategy during a darkspawn attack.
Qui-Gon Jinn came to the Jedi
There's a
Council
reason I
revealing
dragged
the
you
truth
into
of
this
the
whole
Sith.
soulless mess.
You're
Seriously,
clever,
because the Jedi
adaptable,
selected Matthew Jinn,
and
they
you
would send
don't
the Master
know
Commander
when to
basically
quit.
to Naboo with Master Plo Koon to ensure that whichever Sith
You're
was
awake.
following the Jedi around was dealt with.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to barge in. I was just
Involved
looking
in
for
this,
Elfroot.
No, it's fine.
He was well aware
I
of
was
the
just going to
Sith.
stretch my legs.
Wanted to worry about
Oh,
Plo.
Rook,
He was close with both
watch your
of them.
step out there.
Anakin, though, he was
If you put a
really
foot
upset
wrong, you'll
that they
fall
didn't tell him.
forever.
Anakin operated
Yeah,
at a
on
higher
top of
level
everything
reality
else, the
than
Illuvian
the
took us
Jedi
to the
surrounded
Fade.
him. His connection
place
with
where
the
dreams
Force
come
and his
from,
teachings
so
allowed him to know
that.
much more than those around him taught him. Anakin,
Then
unlike the
I
rest of the children,
really
would
need to
spend his
look
time
around.
inside the garden
Yeah,
in the Jedi
you
temple
should.
meditating.
And
When he
we
wasn't
should
scheduled
talk
for
about
training
things.
of any sorts,
Maybe
he
find
spent
Nev.
himself.
She's outside,
Skywalker
looking
had no
around.
reason to be anywhere
There's a room with
else.
a table down the stairs. I'll meet you there.
Go ahead, Rook. Me,
The Force surrounded him.
I need to sleep.
On Naboo, Wyndham and Plo Koon would follow the Queen to her hangar bay, and before they knew it,
See you
they
later,
encountered the
kid.
Sith assassin, Darth Maul. While he certainly didn't fit the description of the Sith that Wendy and Tin faced on Tatooine 9 years before, he was still a Sith. Maul was ready for this fight until he saw the Jedi he was facing. He knew he could take on Jin and Kenobi, assuming that the Jedi would be all the unwise to challenge him with those two Jedi. But no, they sent two of the best duelists inside the entire order. Though Maul accepted his challenge and prepared to fight the two of them by running towards him using his age to his advantage. Both Plo and Base were much older. Not ancient like Yoda, but they had years on their belt, and Maul didn't. Though this actually worked really well in their favor, considering for Jedi like Base and Plo, age meant they got off a lot better at doing what they did, which was beating whoever challenged them without blinking. Plo and Kenobi used their patience and allowed Maul to take a typical aggressive Sith approach. The movements reciprocated everything Maul did with a strong parry and block. Another thing about these two Jedi is Base was Fakad, which allowed him to use the opponent's dark side energy against them. And while Plo
Look who's with
basically
us.
just a physical dominant Jedi,
We're,
while Maul was a Zabrak,
we're
he actually
really in
more
the Fade.
physically strong than a human being. He was
Land of raw
powerful.
magic,
Naturally,
nightmares,
had a
and
lot more
this,
physical strength than
apparently.
those species that wielded a lightsaber, those that weren't
It's
Wookiees
a
at
lot
least.
to take in.
Plo parried a strike by Maul before leveraging more power
Harding thought we
towards him
should
and
talk
throwing him off
about
balance.
what comes
Maul was
next.
tossed in the fight.
She's not wrong.
It wasn't exactly a
But
positive
if you need a
start for him,
breather,
as he
can't
smashed
hurt to
away
look around
against the Knights
first.
of the Order and pressed forward heavily. Maul used his physical attributes to flip around and strike where he could. The two Jedi had the hand of Maul. He was impressive with his strength, and he was impressive with his ability to try and hold him off, but the truth is, they were still going to beat him. Maul leapt forward and Mace caught him with his lightsaber and struck forward with two hard-switch strikes. Maul tumbled back and turned to see Plo bearing down on him, blasting his lightsaber with a heavy strike that would throw the Sith assassin from his feet. Maul realized something in this moment. It was a setup. While Maul knew about Plagueis and even about Dooku, he began to think that Palpatine was going to replace him. Cromwell didn't know much, he did know that Pelagius was killed right after Palpatine became Chancellor. While the companies of the Trade Federation blogging that move weren't as harsh as they could have been, they were enough to get the Chancellor of the Norm removed from office. Well assumed that Duke was meant to be his replacement.